Clara Bonneau graced this world for nearly 94 years, dying on 17th of August 2014 at noon. During this time, she bore witness to 16 U.S. presidents, the height of the Industrial Revolution, rolled into a new millennium. And learned to use computers in the information age. Clara told her story this way.
I was born in a little one-room log cabin, September 5th, 1920. My father and sister Josie delivered me. I spent my first months in a baby buggy for my bed since I was the youngest of 10 children.
This log cabin was in Forsyth, Montana area. Clara's parents, Hans Friestad and Gertrude Nelson, both of Norway, married in the United States in the year 1900. Their 10 children included Gus, Josie, Tilda, Henry, Agnes, Norma, Lillian, Helen, Hans, and finally Clara. The last 4 children were born on the homestead. Clara's early life was one of work and survival. During this time, she also had fond memories of living with her sisters Josie and later with Agnes. Clara was a bright child and completed the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grades when she was 9 years old. Altogether, Clara spent 3 years in school, yet she was able to earn a diploma. Her intelligence would serve her well as she worked and began her career as a wife and a mother. Clara left a legacy that can be seen in her family and friends. Her family are the fruit of her labors. Clara was a born caregiver. She worked cleaning homes, cooking, ironing, and the like. She shared in her memoir,
I worked for $8 a month for a family. The $8 a month covered my room rent.
Even though money was limited, Clara took great pride in dressing well for every occasion. Clara, at 23, married Albert D. Haines in 1944, and they lived in Washington until the end of World War II. Albert's son, Jim, a teenager, lived with them and was a big help when their first daughter, Rosalie, was born. When she became pregnant with twins, they moved back to Montana. Joyce and Pat were born in Forsyth, Montana, and Albert traveled home for the weekend from his job in Colstrip, which was 40 miles away. Clara nursed her children through black measles, lost a baby, dealt with snakes and mosquitoes, stifling heat, gave birth to their only son, Dick, and lived in many houses without indoor plumbing in those early years. She also battled her own health problems, having surgery to remove her appendix, and later had her gallbladder removed along with a hysterectomy that nearly took her to heaven. Her family was so thankful that Clara was able to live and continue to bless the future generations. Her stepson, Jim, married Barbara and lived in Miles City, close to Clara and the children. Jim and Barbara were instrumental in introducing Clara to Jesus Christ in 1951. This one decision has transformed Clara's life and brought immeasurable blessing to the many generations to follow. Clara now devoted her life to caring for the spiritual needs of those around her, and not just the physical needs. Prayer meetings became a routine part of the family's life. Clara maintained close relations with her siblings and her in-laws over the years, at times living with various relations. Her young family lived in Forsyth, Miles City, Glendive, Sydney, Webo, and White Sulphur Springs. The family ultimately settled in Helena, Montana in 1962, where Clara began attending Helena First Assembly of God. As her children grew, got married, and headed off to college, Clara began to focus her caregiving on foster babies. She cared for newborns through the Catholic Charities Organization for many years. Clara and Al enjoyed many good years at Helena First Assembly. Clara was active in the women's ministries. Then tragedy struck. Her son Dick developed a fatal illness and died in 1971. Clara shared this in her journal.
The worst time I've had in my whole life was to watch Dick die. I felt so helpless. If I hadn't had the Lord to strengthen me, I wouldn't have been able to bear it.
Despite these circumstances, there were new seasons to celebrate as Rosalie, Pat, and Joyce each married. Clara enjoyed the opportunity to play mother of the bride. Clara also greatly enjoyed the arrival of grandchildren. Additionally, Clara chose to work as a senior companion, caring for many people and making many new friends. Grief invaded Clara's world again as her husband Al was diagnosed with cancer and died in 1981. Extended family gathered for the funeral and to support Clara in her grief. Clara was not comfortable with life alone as a widow and married Ed Bonneau, a man she met as they both volunteered as senior companions. Ed and Clara journeyed life together for 18 years until 2000 when he died of heart failure. During these times, Clara was able to enjoy the new generations, spending time with grandchildren, attending more weddings and welcoming great-grandchildren into the family. She spent much of her time praying that these children would make Jesus part of their lives. Most of these children were happy to receive Clara's handmade jewelry, crocheted items, knitted sweaters, or bed quilts. She was the ultimate homemaker. She holds the title for world's greatest grandma. Clara created a legacy by teaching her children the value of eating as a family. This habit has been ingrained into the fiber of the family. Clara was an excellent cook. She made the most amazing pies and pot roast. And she always made sure there was meat, potatoes, a vegetable, and most importantly, desserts at family meals. Over the years, Clara really enjoyed traveling and camping out, and at her age was still adventurous enough to ride a four-wheeler. While these activities were fun, Clara preferred to be with her girls. The final years of her life had been her greatest struggle. Her mind diminished with dementia, her loss of independence, and failing health. Thankfully, she always had her girls by her side. Clara never stopped being a caregiver. She adopted 2 more babies and took great care of them. It was challenging for her family and friends to understand why these 2 stuffed animals were so important to her. Yet in looking back at her life story, it serves as a great reminder of her legacy of caring for multiple generations. Clara shared in her life story,
I'm so thankful for the wonderful family the Lord has given me, and that all my children and grandchildren are serving the Lord.
Clara Haines Bonneau made an impression on everyone she met. People think fondly of her quick smile, delicious pies, and gentle touch. She will be greatly missed.